Hey folks, Phil B-Man here. We're filling feed pails today. It's a pile of work to fill 1,500 pails, but here we are. I always used empty or recycled pails and poked holes or drilled holes in the top, mostly just poked. But I'm trying to improve on that. So this year I'm using, I'm drilling 1.25 inch holes and then capping those holes with these plugs that bee supply stores sell. I tried a couple hundred on Friday and they seem to work pretty well. But one of the big chores is drilling the actual hole, and I modified my hole saw. Let me just show you what I did here. So I put a spring on the arbor of the hole saw so that it kind of rejects the leftover piece. I don't know, there must be a name for that, but I don't know what it is. So let's try this. Oops, I'm not squaring the drill. There we go. And then it pops right off again. Just like that. Oh, sometimes easy. Must have been a video going where something went wrong. Okay, let's fill those and I'll show you how to do that. And of course I got a crew here helping me. We've done about 800 pails so far today. And I rigged this up. This is kind of my standby honey pump. But I just took the belt off and put an impeller pump on. And it's coming from my outdoor hopper tank. One of the amazing things is some of these pails come from restaurants, and even after 10 years you can tell a certain pail has pickles and another one has relish. There's a certain smell to them. Doesn't seem to bother the bees. After we have these pallets filled, we use shrink wrap, pallet wrap to hold the pails on the pallet, load them on the truck, and then I take a forklift with me and put them close to the hives and then carry them the last couple of feet by hand. It's a lot of work. Make sure everybody This is, I guess people would call it 2-to-1 sugar. It's It's undiluted from how it comes from the syrup tanker, which I think is 67%. So it's pretty viscous stuff. I know when I used to mix sugar by hand, that was a pile of work. I remember doing it with a canoe paddle. Boy, that was rough. So getting it liquid sure saves a lot of grief. Oop, a little too much on that. Then we just pop these caps in. I find with the thumb is the best way. And hopefully next year, when we use these pails, we just pop those caps out again.
The hive tool or something.
Yeah, it's hard to say. The bees are going to propolize it all up. It might not be super easy either, but
well, and the lids are the things that break anyway. So if you're not taking the lids on and off, hopefully fewer break.
Yeah, even like this one has a screen. Oh, I should talk about that too while I'm here. So this is a commercially made feeder pail. Somehow it didn't get the hole cut for the lid. I'm going to grab that. I set one aside earlier. So this is a typical feeder pail. You can buy it at a beer supply. So it has the cap. A couple of things I don't like about this type of pail is when you flip this upside down, there's a bunch of syrup still trapped in the lid that can't get out, and that always ends up fermenting and making a mess. And even if you wanted to clean that out, you'd have the same problem. You can't get all the gunk out. Another thing is that screen, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but there's still plastic under that screen. They drilled a couple holes and then melted that screen on over top. And that layer of plastic that's just behind the screen actually reduces the surface tension of the syrup. It would have been way better to have a clear screen with a hole in behind. So these ones leak pretty quick because of that reduction in the surface tension. The syrup is kind of pulled both ways because there's a thin film between the screen and the plastic, and so you get about half the surface tension. So that type of pail actually, well, if I go down my hives and I see one that's spilling out on the ground and flip it over, quite often it's that type of screen. So, whereas the holes, and you don't need that many holes. This is, well, someone got a little excited on that one. And we often poke a couple fresh ones every time we put the pail on just to be sure. So an older pail has more holes. But even a couple holes is enough. You come back in 2 weeks later and all the pails are empty. And if the pail isn't empty, there's something wrong with the hive. So anyway, that's how I feed the bees. I'll probably make a video of putting them on just so you see how that looks. And that's it.